Hello, everyone. Hi, Maria. You still there?
Hello.
Hello, everyone. This is Anshu, founder and CEO of Cloud Defense. I'm glad to be here. Today, we're going to discuss about AWS Zero Trust Policy. This is one of our open source initiative to improve the cloud security. In the past, what we have learned, most of the attacks get originated because your identity gets compromised. And if you are aware, AWS IAM policies are very jumbling, very complicated. So in this talk, we will discuss how we can achieve the zero trust policy and what is our open source initiative and why we develop the open source initiative. So having said that, I would like to introduce one of my great friend and leader, Maria. Um, she's our executive advisor for Cloud Defense, and she has a lot of experience working in big companies. So over to you, Maria.
Thank you, Anshu. Hi, guys. I'm also very thrilled to be here. And I'm excited always to bring to life open source projects, especially when they're so valuable, innovative, like the solution that we are going to talk today. So, with no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Why the AWS Zero Trust Policy is your guide to zero trust, and how it will help you to improve your security policy. So I decided to start by putting apart the name. We have kind of a longish name, and I wanted to put it apart in terms of functionality that we are employing into this solution. So first of all, on the left side, we have AWS. Obviously, this is a cloud, public cloud, cloud service provider. And while our solution today works on AWS, there's just no reason why we cannot take this solution and move it to work, to enable it to work on other public clouds. And by the way, I hope I have some of the friends online from D3 Mind. This is an excellent consulting company. They may be potentially considering to take this solution and port it to work on DigitalOcean, which is one of our open cloud platforms. So when talking about AWS, obviously we are talking about cloud security. So what actually resonates with this term? Cloud, S3, VPC, STS, encryption, logging, and auditing, serverless IAM, of course, which Anshu mentioned, and CloudTrail. We'll talk a little bit more about CloudTrail a little bit later, but this is kind of this cloud security portion. Now, talking about cloud security, one significant consideration here is how cloud security works today. We have a separate responsibility or shared responsibility by definition. So there's some areas that the vendor is responsible for the security, and a big portion that is left to us, the enterprises, the companies, to comply to and to build and to support, and we are basically responsible for that. So this sometimes can become a little bit troublesome. A lot of customers are asking, hey, how can I simplify that? Hey, am I okay? Do I have enough visibility? And this is what we are going to base our conversation a little bit later on. The second area is the zero trust. So what does zero trust correlates to? This will be least privilege, continuous verification, never trust, always verify. We're talking about microsegmentation, of course, IAM, machine identity, human identity, authentication, authorization. So all of those things are coming into the umbrella of zero trust. And then on the right side, we have the policy. And for us, everything today kind of comes down to S code. So we have a policy as code. Of course, IAM. And what is important for a policy? This granular access control. So you have the granularity, you have the resource base, the identity base, the MFA, and these compliance and governance notions done hopefully in an easy way.
So essentially, it's very complicated. In nutshell, it's very, very complicated, and that's the reason why you know, we have developed this open source initiative so that our developers, our security professionals, DevOps can utilize it. And if we can impact anybody's life, that will be our winning. Yeah. Go ahead, Maria. Sorry to
Correct.
interrupt.
So
Yeah.
Anshu kind of start bringing the next slide, the problem on the next slide. So the basic statement here is that if you don't use a zero trust and if you don't have it established on your cloud environment, and the easiest way to establish it as a policy, this will leave you open to security vulnerabilities. And guys, we all are guilty sometimes. Like I have as a second line here on the slide, the seniority based access control. How many times we don't go and audit properly our environments? And basically, that's because we don't have the good visibility of it. But in how many occasions, we leave old accounts that might be overprivileged, or let's say we have an urgency tonight, we have to troubleshoot something, we create an account and forget to delete it later on. Isn't it going to be nice if there is something to remind us about it and to say, hey, you forgot to do that? So really, the problem statement comes down to the broad axis. When we don't have visibility of it, increases our attack surface and exposes us to breaches. So the solution, AWS plus Zero Trust plus the policy. The solution is innovative. We leverage the CloudTrail logs to create a least privilege IAM policy. So we are basically generating those policies for you automatically. And we are focusing to be easy, to be automated, not to hinder the productivity, because we are analyzing the real user time activity for specific time frame as much as I guess cloud trail logs you guys preserve. And so this is the information that you can really trust. So on the right side, I have the benefits, and I'll come back to this in the end of the presentation to summarize those. But our goal really in terms of benefits was to enable the zero trust security model. That also immediately will imply that we would reduce the surface attack, to mitigate the security risk, to protect the sensitive data, and not just to strengthen the overall security posture, although this is the ultimate goal, but to start building, to foster this culture of security awareness, to foster the real-time analytics and help you be more successful. So that said, this is our repository. You have the QR code or you have the link. And my ask to you for the presentation today is to take a look. Get to know it firsthand. Go to the GitHub, read our license, read our README, fork the repository, explore, and see how this actually can help you being more productive. How can it helps you to improve your security posture? Look at the visibility and the automation that it provides to you to make you more successful. That said, let's start the talk, I guess, with the zero trust concept and why zero trust and why zero trust policy. So the zero trust, and you guys probably are familiar, so I'm kind of go a little bit faster on this. This is the security model. This is the architecture that challenges the traditional parameter-based approach. We call it the castle and the moat approach, which actually assumes that everything what is inside is by default trusted. I don't need to worry about, I don't need to verify it. And only I need to protect from the outside. And so this principle has proven not to be accurate any longer. Who doesn't want to work or who doesn't work sometimes from Starbucks? And the pandemic actually showed us how much exposed we are for all of this connection coming from outside our enterprises. And also, we have a significant impact due to internal threat, to insider risk. And sometimes imagine that my account was overcome, somebody stole my account and it's already inside of the enterprise. So what we are trying to do with a zero trust is to make sure that we implement the principle never trust, always verify before to allow those entities to connect to our to our data. Doesn't matter if they're internal
Yeah.
or
So trust and verify. That's the learning from, just if I were to summarize, always trust and verify. Yeah.
correct. And the zero trust policy in this case is like the roadmap for implementing the zero trust philosophy, the architecture. So if the zero trust is the why, the concept, the architecture, the zero trust policy is how to implement it, the practical implementation. And of course, they always go hand in hand to create our robust security posture. That said, um, what is the complication from the cloud and the zero trust? Obviously, we want to implement zero trust within our cloud environments, but it can be some cumbersome from time to time. Um, we have to adopt this notion of we cannot rely on the perimeter anymore. And by the way, zero trust is more stricter to compared to what the cloud IAM actually provides to you. And actually, guys, think about that. We have a lot of more regulations that we need to comply to. So this comes and hits us as an additional complication. So we also face a lot of complexity in terms of cloud, the cloud itself, the dynamic scalability. We are adding containers on the fly. We have multi-tenancies. And all of this, especially when we are talking about the implementation of zero trust, requires to have a higher visibility so we can take control over what is connected and how it's connecting. We can be in charge when we need to go and deactivate certain accounts or remove certain privileges from certain accounts. So the visibility and the being in the know-how is the most important part. And so as you can see on the diagram, the zero trust policy generation script kind of comes between our environment and our policies that are based on the real user actions. In this case, it shows 30 days, but that assumes that your CloudTrail data is only for 30 days. Otherwise, we can learn from more data. That was always going to be better. So the idea behind the AWS Zero Trust Policy solution is to equip the organizations with a tool to seamlessly integrate the principles of zero trust into the cloud environment based on learning from the real user activity as recorded into the CloudTrail logs.
Yeah. The more the merrier, correct, Maria? So the more data you have, the system or the AI will learn better uses of the user's behavior. Is that correct, Maria?
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes a complication might be that storing more data is a little bit more expensive. But I think every company at least hold data for 90 days. So I think this is kind of the measuring side for as much as data as possible will be the better, of course. So how actually the solution works? How to implement it? Very, very simple, actually. Nothing special from a development perspective or implementation perspective to integrate it into your environment. We have a few prerequisites here, the version of Python, the Python packages, and we are using Redis service, so we have this scalability in terms of memory. And so the steps are going to be very similar to what any developer would expect. We would clone the repository, navigate it, install the libraries, run the service, and then proceed with the running. And then once the zero trust policies are generated, we will be able to assess where we are currently in our stage.
Yeah.
That
So,
said,
Maria,
yeah, go
did you, yeah. So, did you mean you know, if I follow these instructions and if I have CloudTrail data, so I can be up and running in 15, 20 minutes, right? No complicated setup required, correct?
I would assume so. Yes, and again, I mean, all of the steps that are here on the screen, Anshu, they're very familiar. Every developer would be familiar with them. So the
Yeah.
complexity is highly, highly diminished, if not eliminated. I would say.
No,
Right?
this is very good to learn that there is no complicated setup. There are no bells and whistles. You just clone the repository and feed your CloudTrail data, and you will be up and running just in few minutes. Thank you, Maria. Yeah.
Thank you, Anshu, for the comment. So in terms of the architecture and the working, guys, we have just a very short kind of the screen. You can just take a look at the project structure on the left side in the tree format. The functionality, I think we spoke a little bit, but let me summarize it for you. The feature will traverse the S3 buckets within the AWS account associated with the AWS CloudTrail. It will retrieve the events and generate the policy based on the collected information and the collected learning. And it's optimized to utilize Redis as a caching mechanism, so we can have this as fast as possible. And the execution you see with a post request, okay, to the run point. So that's kind of a pretty simple. This is how the feature is. You can take a look, but the best way to go, if you ask me, is just go to the repository and take a look at all of the files there. That's probably the best I can advise you guys. But
yeah, because it's very hard to read the code until
yeah,
you clone the repository and debug it.
Yeah, smallish here, but just to have a screen in terms of the architecture. So now, when I showed you the benefits in the beginning, now we are coming back to those benefits, and hopefully I was able to convince you guys of the benefits of the AWS Zero Trust Policy. So the implementation offers numerous benefits, basically intending to straighten up the security posture, to fortify the digital environments, specifically the cloud environments. So we're offering enhanced security with implemented on a granular access control, and we are helping you to establish the least privilege principles that are very typical to the zero trust concept, to restrict the user access based on the user activity, something that it's typical to their roles, to their responsibilities. So we are not going to hinder the productivity of specific users, right? While if you go and manually try to manipulate accounts, then you may remove somebody or account or something that is needed for your production environment. You don't want to do that, right? And who hasn't done it? I have done it. I've been in a situation when we've been changing accounts and then having problems on production with specific accounts being removed. This also gives you the ability for a proactive threat detection, to visibility, to monitoring what actually is happening, and to analyze your user activities real time. This can alert you for some potential anomalies, maybe suspicious behavior. And ultimately, this is enhancing your data protection. This is kind of the summary that I had. And again, the QR code and our repository link with the ask from you guys to go and to explore firsthand where we are. And now I guess we can go if there's any questions from you guys.
Looks like no question, but yeah. So there is a question. What strategies can be employed to enforce the AWS Zero Trust policies effectively? Maria, do you want to take that question?
I probably can answer it, yes. So for us, the current solution doesn't have enforcement policy. I think that this is actually a good next step. It makes sense if we have also enforcement policy. But just by getting the visibility, by knowing what is going on, this gives you enough power, enough control to be able to go and make the changes, confidently make the changes that are needed.
Okay, cool. And any other questions, guys? Otherwise, I would say we are still looking for active contributors who can contribute to this open source initiative and help us with this initiative. And on top of that, our goal is to also do zero trust policy in GCP and Azure as well. And for doing that, whoever will be contributing that, we have a very nice gift we're gonna be offering new iPhone 15 if you are able to do that on GCP and generate the zero trust policy model over there, something similar to what we have done for AWS. There is another question as well. Maria, do you want to take that? Question is, can you explain the importance of network segmentation in implementing AWS Zero Trust Policy?
Yes. So let's take a look at the question is really good because we always advise micro segmentation or any type of segmentation. For example, if you guys are part of a PCI audit or you do your annual PCI assessment, most of the time you're going to have some importance of the network segmentation. So this is a practice that is advisable to be already implemented. And the solution, once you have the overview of the solution of your users, what the users are accessing, how they're accessing your system, you will have a good way of understanding, hey, maybe I need to have a little bit to think about some type of a micro segmentation here. Oh, maybe I'm way too widely open. Maybe I need to limit. I need to segment. And so I think this is the value that is going. The visibility is going to help you to be more effective in your architecture as well. And I also see another question: how does AWS Zero Trust Policy align with compliance requirements? So the very first thing about having a compliance is that, oh, well, we need to comply. There are certain regulations we need to comply. We need to show also, especially if we have an audit or we are trying to pass a SOC type of certification or something, right? Or ISO or NIST 853, for example. We need to demonstrate, we need to show, to have the evidences that we are compliant. So think about it this way. So if I have this report and I can show to the auditors and I can say, hey, listen, maybe 3 months ago I had all of those user access controls, and now I don't have this, I don't have violation. I am actually compliant, and you can see it on a paper, right? You can see it in a report. So I think this is also something that will help you to be in a better state, especially with the upcoming stricter regulations. Right?
Yeah, very well said, Maria. Very, very well said. Cool.
More questions, guys. We like the communication, and again, we are here to support you, and we are very thankful if you guys go really and firsthand try it out for it.
Yeah, just try it out, our initiative, our effort, and any issue, anything, please do let us know. And this is, we are very passionate about open source initiatives, and we want to contribute back to the society, back to security community. And this is very small token of appreciation from our side. Well, there are no other questions. Then, guys, please feel free to take the QR code and fork the repo. Try to play with the tool. Any issue or anything, maybe you guys have it fixed as well, right? If you find the very critical bug, and there may be, some bug bounty or some prize we may have on the house.
Yeah, and we are very actively engaged with the community. You can find blogs. I even have a blog about this feature. We are on Medium, LinkedIn. Also, we have the discussions in GitHub. So please, if you would like to kind of contact us through GitHub, we are also on GitHub discussions. So we are engaged with the community. Please let us know. We are looking forward to the collaboration.
Yeah, Maria, is that also correct that Clint Gibbler also published about this in his TLDR? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, we also have publications, and we've been talking to different Zero Trust experts, for example, Dr. Zero Trust. Hopefully that we can make some engagement with him as well. Different communities we are part of, and different boards that we are posting and communicating with the cybersecurity community. And actually with the developer community, because something that a lot of people don't realize is that usually the big burden comes from the developer community. So this is our goal, to make more efficient, less burden, and much easier to implement security topics like
Yeah.
this.
Cool. All right. Without further ado, everybody, thank you very much for attending in your busy morning, Friday. Don't work too hard. Just have enjoy, enjoy the weekend. And thank you, Maria, for helping
Thank,
us with this great initiative.
thank you guys. Great weekend.
Thank you. Bye.